Hello, and welcome back to Neuro English Now. I'm Tim.
And I'm Jessica. We're so excited to have you with us today. If you've ever wondered how to express possibility, ability, permission, or even give advice in English, this episode is for you.
That's right. Today, we're diving into modal verbs, those small but powerful words that can completely change the meaning of a sentence. And don't worry, we'll break it down with simple examples and even throw in some advanced variations for our more experienced listeners.
Exactly. So let's get started. First off, what are modal verbs?
Modal verbs are special verbs that help us express things like ability, possibility, necessity, permission, and more. They include words like can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, or would.
Think of them as helper verbs that add meaning to the main verb. Here's the key. Modal verbs are always followed by the base form of the main verb.
Exactly. Now, let's break down the most common modal verbs with examples.
We use can primarily to express ability or to ask for permission. Let's look at ability first. When we say, I can speak 3 languages, we mean that I have the ability to do so. Similarly, she can run fast tells us about her physical capability. Now let's move on to permission. When you ask, can I leave early today? You're asking if it's allowed. On the other hand, if someone says to you, you can park here, they are giving you permission to do so. Finally, let's explore a slightly more advanced way to express these ideas. Instead of simply saying can, you could say, I'm capable of speaking 3 languages to express ability. And instead of, can I leave early today? You could ask, is it possible for me to leave early today? These variations add a bit more nuance to your language.
Nice upgrade. It sounds a bit more formal, perfect for business settings. The word could is the past form of can, but it has other uses too. We use it for polite requests and to talk about possibility. For past ability, you might say, when I was younger, I could climb trees easily. For polite requests, could you help me with this? Sounds more polite than can you help me? And to express possibility, you could say, it could rain later, meaning it's possible. A more advanced and very polite way to ask for help, instead of could you help me, is would you mind giving me a hand with this?
The modal verb may is typically used for formal permission or to express possibility. For example, you might say, may I come in? As a formal way to ask for permission. To express possibility, you could say, it may snow tomorrow. Might is very similar to may, but often suggests a slightly lower degree of certainty. For example, I might go to the party tonight indicates you're not yet sure. For more natural-sounding alternatives, especially in spoken English, you could say, there's a chance it will snow tomorrow. Instead of it may snow tomorrow.
Good point. Might sounds a little more casual, and may feels more formal. The word must is a strong modal verb used to express a necessity or a strong conclusion. Be sure to think of rules like, you must wear a seatbelt. As a conclusion, when you're almost certain about something, you might say, she must be tired after such a long journey. This shows that you are of your own acceptance are convinced. More natural-sounding alternatives to must include it's important to wear a seatbelt for the necessity, and she's probably exhausted after the trip for the deduction. The latter is less formal, but very common in spoken English.
The word shall is a modal verb that is generally considered more formal and is more commonly used in British English. It is primarily used to express offers or suggestions. For offers, you might say, shall I open the window? This is a polite way of offering to do something. For suggestions, shall we go for a walk? Is a common way to propose an activity. While shall is still used, especially in formal contexts, there are more casual alternatives available. For instance, instead of saying shall we go for a walk, you could say, how about we go for a walk? Which is a more modern and informal way of making a suggestion.
The word should is a helpful modal verb for giving advice or recommendations. For example, you could say, you should drink more water as a general health recommendation, or you should see a doctor if someone is unwell. More nuanced ways to give similar advice include, it might be a good idea to drink more water, or I'd recommend seeing a doctor. These alternatives soften the advice slightly while still conveying the same message.
The words will and would are modal verbs used for talking about the future and hypothetical situations, respectively. Will is straightforwardly used for future actions, as in I will call you tomorrow. Would on the other hand, is used for hypothetical situations such as I would travel more if I had the time, and also for polite requests or offers like would you like some coffee? More natural-sounding alternatives include I'm planning to call you tomorrow, instead of I will call you tomorrow, and if I had more time, I would definitely travel more. To replace the hypothetical, I would travel more if I had the time.
We have covered the following points. Can and could are used to express ability, permission, and possibility. May and might are used to express possibility and formal permission. Must is used to express necessity and strong deductions. Shall is used for formal suggestions. Should is used for giving advice. Will and would are used for future plans and hypothetical situations.
Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I can speak English confidently. You should practice every day. It might rain tomorrow. Could you help me with this?
That's it for today's episode of Neuro English Now.
If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend.